Hello guys, this is Dipak Talaviya. In this video tutorial we will going to learn how to use code first migration to update the database or how to apply code first approach in ASP.NET MVC. ASP.NET MVC code first approach. Hope you guys gone through lesson number 2. In lesson number 2 what we have did is just like we add one model, add some property to that model, add one controller on based on that model and some views related to that controller, and finally we set up one db context. We did some stuff in a web.config file and we create a new database, and we did one crude ASP.NET MVC application successfully. So let's continue from that lesson. So my request is to that is, if you don't gone through that lesson number 2, please complete that lesson first to easily make sense in this lesson. This tutorial is very small but very important. So let's go with this tutorial. Step number 1: add new property to employee model. Public integer age getter setter. Let's add new property to our existing model as a employee age. Remember guys, when we add some new property or remove some property from a model, we must need to do is clean and build the solution to configure the model with a new add or remove properties. Okay, so our first step is completed, and for the second step, run application. This will show error about apply code first migration. Why this will show error about code first migration? This is because we added some new property to the model and that properties doesn't exist in our database. So model properties and database column is mismatched now. So as per the criteria ASP.NET MVC and entity framework, this will show the error. Let's see what kind of error it shows. Okay, our application runs successfully, and our link is over here is employee, and I clicked on that and it shows error like context has changed since the database was created. Consider using code first migration to update the database. Okay, let's see what is next for us. Is step number 3: apply code first migration using following commands. These all are the commands and many more are there, so we need to remember just is for only for this all for commands to apply code first migration. This is like enable migrations, add migration, update database script, it's optional, and finally update the database. Let's apply this all the code first migration, but remember enable migration command is only used once we applied this enable migration commands, and next time when we need to add or remove some property, we not need to apply this command every time. So let's apply all these command, like in tools, create another console. Initially it will take some times. Okay, it's done. Our project default project name is here. If we have more than one project, and then we need to set up select over here what in which project we need to apply code first migration. So let's add enable migrations, enable migrations, and hit the enter. Okay, we get message like code first migration enable for project web application. Good. Now step for next command of migration, add migration, and hit enter. Here we need to uh, we can give our migration file name like add edge filled to emp model. So what we can remember that which kind of migration, why we add this migration, and hit the enter, and it will create one cs file in a migration folder. Like what we can see here is add age field to employee model. Okay. Employee age integer nullable false, and something like mechanism of add migration to the project. This is what update database dash scripts, and this is optional. When we need to use this command, if our published database, our published project and database on the other machine like server machine, and we are not going to execute all this command on that machine, we just need to take this migration script, and we have to execute that script on that server machine, and that's it for the migration. And what we do is it will automatically by executing that script, it will update the database, and what we have our file or migration file is already existing in our project. So I show you update database dash script. I'm not going to use this script right now. I just show you how this script looks like, and what we need to do is executing on other machines, so we can apply migrate. We don't need to manually add one migration field to database. It will automatically create a altered particular employee table and add that edge column to that employee table. So I just removing this, and our final step is update database. Update database command. Once I hit this command, the age property of this particular employee model will automatically add one column in employees table. Okay, so I'm going to hit enter right now, and it shows message like running sys method. When we see this kind of message like running seed method, this means that our migration done successfully. For step 4, run application and apply related changes to particular views. Okay, right now what I am going to do is rebuild the solution and apply related field changes to particular views, so I can get edge property in every views of that controller views, like index, details, delete and create. I'm just going to add that new property in this view is edge. Likewise, we can add or edit this extra property in all other views. Okay, let's run this application. Okay, what we see here is our new field age is shows here, and I'm going to add one more record, ABC XYZ India 45. Create. Okay, this is shows not updating that edge property. Let's take a look into that controller. This is what here only edit only those property which is specify here is we need to add our properties like edge. So now it will update that add edge property, edge column. We need to also change over here. Okay, let's run now. Let's click on employee and update our newly added field 45. Save. This is what updated over here. So let's go through next step is step 5. Take a look into the database and check for new update in a database due to migration. Now what we are going to see is what effect in the database get done throughout what we have done code first migration from our project, and let's take a look into the database. This is our database employee DB what we have created in our previous lesson. And one more thing, whatever migration file is added here, it will directly inserted one more record in this migration history table. If we didn't create any migration, if we didn't add that file, then there is not any migration file record will be inserted over here. We can see here our new migration record is here. So and what our employees table get changed is one more column age, integer age is added. So this is what for all about how to apply code first migration in ASP.NET MVC, and we just need to remember these few codes like enable migration, add migration, and in that give migration file name, update database, it's optional, and finally update the database. So this all step is done. So thank you guys, and if you like this video tutorial, you can share it. Your one share can help other developers to learn something new regarding ASP.NET MVC. Let's do it to share this video tutorial. Subscribe and get more info about ASP.NET MVC tutorial. Thanks again. Learn every day. Have a great time.